In the 1850s, Chinatown constituted an alien city within the city of San Francisco. Here, thousands of Orientals, most of them law-abiding and industrious, lived according to ancient traditions.
Hello, Mr. Wayne.
Lily. Always wear that color, Lily. It becomes you.
I'm so glad you noticed.
Yes, you're really beautiful, Lily. You're beautiful and lovely, and the truth isn't in you.
Try me.
What's happening around here, Lily? Or what's about to happen?
What do you mean?
Oh, something's bubbling and boiling and it smells of trouble. Somebody's cooking up something that won't be good for Chinatown.
That's no concern of mine.
Isn't it? These are your people. Would you like to see them run out of the country?
What?
A few agitators have already created a powder keg of resentment against you. And it wouldn't take much to light that fuse either.
Why should those people wish to harm us?
Oh, Lily, you speak a different language, you worship different gods, you have different customs. And your greatest crime is thrift.
I see.
On the other hand, some of you are as bad as the worst of us. Some of you are awful crooked, Lily. Oh, I don't necessarily mean present company. Although I'm not overlooking that possibility either.
Well, the new city marshal.
Hello, Dan. You know Dan White, the assistant district attorney, don't you, Lily?
I've met him.
Hello, Lily.
You should have. He's been very active down here of late.
And so have you, Marshal.
Mm-hmm.
Would it surprise you to find out my office has been making an investigation of you, Mr. Wayne?
Oh, not a bit. But would it surprise you to know that I've been investigating you, Mr. White? It's too bad we don't trust each other, isn't it?
Yes, isn't it?
One of these days, I'm going to drop around and tell you what I found out.
You do that.
What's up, Lily?
I don't know.
Lily.
Follow them, Matt. Hurry.
Dead, Lily. You warned me too late. That fuse is already lit.
California, California, the Californians. California, I've come to live where life is best. In the Golden West, I'm gonna strike it rich in California.
In an uproar. And you can share the blame, Jack.
Why?
For making Dan White a martyr in your newspaper.
Well, he is a martyr.
To his own greed, yes.
What are you trying to tell me, Wayne?
Dan demanded and got a share of every crooked dollar that changed hands in Chinatown. So when he demanded too much, they killed him.
That's an outrageous lie. Dan was my brother-in-law, and I can vouch for his honesty.
You know, Krigo, you're an amazing fellow. As a vigilante, you claim the official existence of corruption, but when you're faced with it, you refuse to believe it.
Oh, I believe it, all right. I just think you're naming the wrong man.
Now, wait a minute, Krieger, wait a minute. Have you got any proof of Dan White's corruption?
Enough to satisfy me, yes, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is to keep the peace.
We all want that.
All right, then keep the vigilantes out of it. Instead of fanning the flames, help me put them out.
Now, wait a minute, Wayne, All right, what do you want me to do?
Offer a reward for information leading to the legal conviction of the killer.
I can arrange that. Anything else?
Yes. Put out a special edition of your newspaper. Advocate patience and reason. And then, Announce that the city marshal is about to arrest the guilty man.
All right, I'll do that.
Of course, it won't be true, but it might help to keep the lid on for a while.
I say it's about time that someone blew the lid off Chinatown. How do you know you can trust this man? How do you know he isn't protecting the ones who murdered my brother-in-law?
Grigo, I'm saving you for a rainy day. Someday when I don't have anything important to do, I'm going to look you up and teach you some manners. Now, if you'll excuse me, I want to have a private word with Jack.
All right, you boys. See you later.
Hello, Mr. Wayne.
Ah, Miss McGivern. How your beauty lights up this dingy place of cameras.
Why, thank you, Mr. Wayne.
Yes, if your father here didn't keep such a close watch on you, Miss McGivern, I'd...
It's Mrs. McGivern, or didn't you know, Sonny? She happens to be my wife. All right, now let's cut this blarney out and get down to business. Come on. Oh, excuse me. Hello, Chewer. What on earth happened to your head?
Have you got a new laundryman, Mrs. McGivern?
No, Chew. Since you retired, I've been doing my own work.
Have you, Mr. Wayne?
Yes, he doesn't do half as good as you did.
Oh, I do much better, cheaper. You come back with me, Mr. Wayne?
Sure, I'll be glad to. But you, what is this? Last week you drew all your money out of the bank. You're going to take it back to your family in China.
I can't go home now.
Why?
Money is all gone.
That's what happened to you. You were robbed. Who did it, Chew?
I don't know.
Where did it happen?
In alley, near Li Ching's place. Have you got laundry for me to take?
Yes, there's a bundle out and back. Poor man. His life savings, $2,000. I could cry.
He is crying inside. But he'd never let you know, or anybody else.
You know the Chinese pretty well, don't you, Matt?
Enough to know they'd be darn good Americans if they were given a chance to be. Jack, will you do those things that we talked about?
Sure.
I'm going to be pretty busy for a while. Small gangs of men are starting to drift toward Chinatown. I want to see that too many of them don't get together to form a mob.
I'll get the newspaper out right away. Dave, have a Chinaman dancing a jig on here.
All right, gentlemen. You've gone far enough.
Who says so?
I do. And a Navy revolver with 6 bullets and percussion caps that never miss.
We got guns, too. How many of us do you think you could get before we got you?
Just one. Maybe. The thing is, you don't know which one. Right now, this gun is aimed at somebody's brisket. Maybe yours. Would you like to find out? I don't think you men want any trouble. Suppose you forget this idea and just go home.
We'll be back, Marshal. We'll be back.
Come on.
Lee, got to talk to you right away. It's very important.
You wish to speak to me?
Yes, about Dan White's murder.
Why do you come to me?
Because you're the unofficial mayor of Chinatown, head of the leading tongue. You're up to your ears in everything that goes on down here. Lee, your boys went too far when they killed the assistant district attorney. That's bad, very bad.
Bad? Not me. I'm good. Good man.
You're the biggest crook in Chinatown. Now, come on. Who killed Dan White? And while we're on it, who robbed my friend Chu, the laundryman?
I do not understand. I go speak with my elders. You wait.
Anything I can do for you, Mr. Wayne?
You do enough for me. Just being beautiful, Lily.
Thank you. What did you want from my uncle?
You really are beautiful. So lovely, so charming, and such a liar.
I am. How so?
Li Ying isn't your uncle. He bought you. You're his number 5 wife.
I'm sorry you discovered my deceit. I wanted you to like me.
Oh, I like you, all right. I think you're worth every dollar that Li Ying paid for you.
You speak of me as if I were a piece of merchandise. If it weren't for the fact that you saved my life on the docks, I
Your
wouldn't
life
have...
wasn't in danger. Those sailors were just lonely.
I can't stand the touch of an American's hands. Of course, there are always exceptions. You didn't tell me what you wanted from my husband.
Information about Dan White's execution.
Did you get it?
Your husband was extremely reticent. Of course, I did see Lum send the hatchet man follow Dan out of this place. But that's not legal proof that he killed anyone. Anyway, Lum Sen has unaccountably disappeared.
He's always on the move.
But I could dig him up, eventually. But that might be too late, Lily. That's why I'm here.
I talked to the elders. They are wise about the ways of San Francisco. They say you want graft.
I don't want graft, you little bandit. I want to know who killed Dan White. And I'm not forgetting the robbery of Chu either.
How much graft do you want?
None. It's about time you people realize that a marshal's badge isn't a license to steal.
I do not understand.
I think he does understand. But just in case he doesn't, you explain it to him. Tell him that there's going to be real trouble unless I get my hands on that killer. And tell him that there's no time to spare. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Then make him understand. And don't forget that your own lovely neck is involved too, my darling.
How can you?
好緊要喎，叫佢返嚟，快啲！
Hi, Mr. Wayne. Just a minute.
講佢聽，我帶嘅證人嚟，有2個證人添。
Li Ying has decided to deliver the killer, together with witnesses to provide legal proof of his guilt.
Good. Deliver him to my office.
我要同法蘭子交易，我唔信佢啊！
Li Ying insists that he deals with the Vigilance Committee. Like many others, he does not have faith in the integrity of the city marshal.
All right, deliver the guilty man to Jack McGivern's store in 1 hour. If you don't, there'll be blood in the streets of Chinatown, and I won't be able to prevent it.
And gentlemen, how long are we going to listen to Matt Wayne's nonsense? Do you actually believe they'll deliver up the murderer to us of their own free will? These Chinese protect one another. They're too clannish to do a thing like that.
They're too smart not to.
They're simply stalling for time while they smuggle the guilty man out of town. I say let's take action now.
Against whom and for what specific reason?
Against the whole blooming nest of Chinese.
The guilty as well as the innocent, huh?
Well, since they won't clean their own house, we'll have to do it for them.
All of San Francisco needs a house cleaning.
You were made city marshal in spite of my objections, I might add. You haven't done anything about it.
I am only one man with a handful of dishonest deputies. Until I've had a chance to weed them out, you'll have to be a little patient.
You spend most of your time in Chinatown. How do we know that you aren't taking graft to protect them?
I like the nasty way you said that, Krigo.
No, gentlemen, please. None of that. Please, now.
All right, I'll settle with you later, Wayne. I say let's take action now.
Will you listen to me, Krago? We agreed to suspend all vigilante action unless constituted authority breaks down again.
It's already broken down. The only way to solve this situation is to take the law into our own hands like we used to.
Don't you suppose they're going to resist?
So much the better.
You see, Krigo doesn't want to clean up. He wants the fun of howling through Chinatown at the head of a gang of cutthroats.
You know, I believe you're right, Matt. Tell me something, Krigo. Why do you hate the Chinese so much, Is it because that you were in the rice business and they priced you out of it?
I won't submit to that.
I'll kill you. You what? What will you do?
Jack. Krigo, I'd love to let Jack dismember you, but I'm saving you for myself, Krigo.
行快啲！
Well, Lee, I see you kept your promise.
Gentlemen, this is the man who killed Dan White.
What are you talking about? This can't be true.
It is true.
I won't believe it.
I did it. With a knife.
No, you...
He saw me. He saw me. He saw me. They all saw me.
Why did you do it, Chu?
For money. Now you hang me?
Happy to oblige. Someone get a rope.
Wait a minute. Chu, come with me.
Just a minute, Marshal. You all heard him confess that he murdered my brother-in-law? Well, gentlemen, shall we pass sentence now?
Sentence will be passed by a judge in court.
Why waste time? He's already pleaded guilty.
Not before a judge. Chu is in my custody. Or would you like to interfere with the performance of my duty, Krigo?
All right. Have your own way. For now. Marshal, how long do you think you'll keep him in jail?
Long enough to see that he gets a fair trial.
What's the matter? Why are you bringing Chu here?
We've got him in our custody.
We're going to lock him up here for a while. He isn't safe in jail, Martha.
But what has he done?
He confessed to the murder of Dan White.
Chu? Oh, he couldn't have.
I killed him.
I'm afraid he is guilty, Martha.
But why would he do a thing like that?
I don't know. Perhaps because all his money was stolen, he became desperate and took the job of killing Dan White.
You wanted to go home to China awfully bad, didn't you, Chu?
Too late now. You hang me now?
Don't be in such a hurry to die. A little investigating to do yet.
Well, then what's there to investigate, Matt?
I'd like to know who paid for this job. You sure you don't want to tell me who put you up to this?
You hang me now.
Keep him out of sight.
All right. Come on with me, Chu.
Hello, Lily.
Can a lady have no privacy, Mr. Wayne?
I can't seem to tear myself away from you. You know Chu, don't you?
The one who was robbed?
Tonight, he confessed to the murder of Dan White.
Did he?
Lily, was his robbery all part of a plan?
What do you mean?
I know you people. I know how you think. Somebody needed a desperate man for a desperate job. And that somebody had Chu robbed to make him desperate enough to commit murder.
Sounds logical.
Not quite. Why didn't he hire a professional hatchetman?
I don't know.
And why didn't Chu try to run away? He seems to want to be hanged. Why?
I don't know.
Lily, Chu is your cousin. Why does he want to die?
I told you I don't know.
I've heard talk, little bits and pieces. The Chinese are laughing. They seem to be laughing at a big joke that's being played on the Americans. What is it, Lily?
I can't tell you.
Lily, don't you ever want to be a free woman?
Why? Li Ying treats me very well.
Now that you're young and beautiful, yes. But even a Chinese lily fades in time.
Li Ying has provided for my future.
But what if a younger and more beautiful blossom strikes his fancy? What then? He can always buy a sixth wife.
That's true.
You could insure yourself against that.
I don't like what you're trying to tell me, Mr. Wayne.
But you'll listen. Now listen hard, because time is running out.
Well, boys, he isn't in jail, but I found out where they've hidden the murderer. He's in Jack McGivern's place.
Should have been run up the rope hours ago.
Unless we make an example of him, the Chinese won't have any respect for us. They'll take over San Francisco.
Yeah, a lot of the other boys feel the same way about it.
All right, get the rest of them together. Tell them I'll meet them at Jack McGivern's. We'll hang him. And then we'll go get the ones who paid him to murder my brother-in-law.
All right, you heard him. Let's go.
Come on, back to McGivern's.
Ne jing guok ke ngo hoi gong ne di wa Li Ying. You must never let them know that I told you. You understand what would happen to me.
It's such a lovely neck, too, my darling. But as I explained to you, I'll make them think they betrayed themselves. Lily, let me hear you say that once more.
Ne jing guok.
Good evening, Lily.
Good evening, Mr. Wayne.
Good evening, Li Ying.
What more do you want? You got the man who killed White.
You and I have just started to do business, you bandit. Catching the killer is only half of my job.
No graft now.
The other half is finding out who agreed to pay for Dan White's murder.
I do not understand.
Was it you, Li Ying?
I do not understand.
Look, I've been all over Chinatown. Your people are enjoying a big joke on us. They're saying that you turned over the wrong man as the killer. They're saying that Chu isn't the one that killed Dan White. Lee, your people talk freely in front of me because it never occurred to them that an American would understand their language. Ne ging kwake, Go ho yi gang, ne diwa li ying?
You speak Chinese?
Fluently. I lived in China for some time. Now, Lee, I know who killed Dan White. I know who hired him to do it. I also know why Chu made that false confession. I heard a dozen of your men say it. I also heard you say it.
I can see that we have much to discuss, Marshal Wayne.
You have something up your sleeve?
Yes.
Watch out behind you!
That's the man who killed Dan White, isn't it?
Yes.
On your orders, right?
Dan White was a very greedy man, Marshal.
Take this man and lock him up. Thanks, Lily.
You took an awfully long chance. What if he continued the conversation in Chinese?
He'd probably think of that himself. But then it'll be too late. Martha! Jack, what happened? Who did this?
Kriego and the gang.
They got Chu.
Yeah, they're gonna lynch him.
But he's innocent. Come on. Stay here. Now listen, this man is innocent. He did not kill Dan White. The man who did is dead, and his accomplice is in custody.
That's a lie. Chu confessed that he killed Dan White.
Yes, he confessed. And do you want to know why? Because he needed money and Chinatown needed a scapegoat. Chu agreed to take another man's place on the gallows, to sell his life for a few dollars that would have been sent to China, to feed his hungry family after his death. Have any of you got that kind of love in you? Now go home. And don't let me see any of you in a mob again. You too.
Every word you said was a lie, Matt Wayne.
Kriego, I said I was saving you for a rainy day.
Please, Mr. Wayne, you hang me now.
There are some things about your people I never will understand. Here, Chu, thanks to Lily, here is the $2,000 that was stolen from you.
How did you manage to get Chu's money back?
There are ways.
Lily, why don't you run along? Maybe I'll join you later.
I'd be honored, Mr. Wayne.
Matt, she's so young.
And so beautiful.
And so deadly.
California. Oh, I've traveled here, I've traveled there. I guess I've been most everywhere. But I like where I am today, and here is where I'll stay. Now, one thing I just can't endure is being broke and being poor. So I come west to take the cure, and here is where I'll stay. I've come to California, California. There's gold in them there hills in California. I've come to live where life is best, in the golden west. I'm gonna strike it rich in California.